Hey, Jules Blessed Vegan, and as always, welcome to my channel. And for those of you who are new, I know you can benefit. So, people, it is late, and though I had the best of intentions last night, I didn't make it to bed by 10, nor 11, nor 12, nor 1. I know. So, this is one of those days that drives me to drink. And kind of like the old days where they'd say, give me a double. I fell prey. Give me a double. Wait, you knew I meant tea, right? Yeah. So this is one of those days where a 16-ounce cup and even a 32-ounce cup isn't going to do it. I needed a 64-ounce cup. And if you think I'm playing on drinking 64 ounces, I'm not. This is 8 cups of tea, and I'm happy to have it. Yeah, I was like, give me a double, man. I am really struggling. So it's super hot, and I don't just mean me. In the high desert. So just over 100, 104. But it's supposed to be about 110 tomorrow and 113 the next day. And I try and provide for my animals and make sure that they're safe. And of course, I chose to teach summer school. So incredibly, we have a fire drill tomorrow. And I'm like, okay, you do get how hot it's going to be. I hope we keep it very brief. Anyway, though, I have been struggling, and I don't want to blame coconut. Look at this precious little person be a problem. All right, coconut? Yeah, it's when you bring your whole tribe, my friend. Where does that tribe come from? Really? Yeah, I know. I grew up in a tribe. Okay. Anyway, though, yeah, I've been struggling. So yesterday I prepped my food, and today I absolutely insisted that I was going to eat my plan, and praise God I did. And I did honor myself by taking the time to eat lunch, even though I had to go to 2 different campuses. And then tonight, my partner, if you will, wanted me to go to the store and get some nonsense for him, which I did. And that was very difficult for me, but I had a plan, and I came home and I ate my food, and I honored myself with that, and I'm so grateful that I did. And I was just thinking, why am I struggling so much? I mean, oh my goodness. And I can only think it's because of the newness in my life. So I'm teaching summer school, but it's at a different school site. It's in a neighborhood that ironically has an old haunt of mine, an old food haunt. And when I associate myself with this place, it was a place for fun and celebration and special treats, right? And we used to actually drive, for 2 hours to get there. It was so special. Well, now it's right across the street from the campus that I'm teaching on, and people at the campus love to run over there because, oh my goodness. And my little kid starts going, oh, good. What about us? What about us? And it's like, I know the game. None of that will ever serve me. And it's just a trick because it's not a treat. So it must be a trick. And it absolutely is. But it's haunting me. I keep seeing it, keep seeing all the bright lights, keep seeing all the fanfare, keep seeing the sign after sign after sign of incredibleness that's available. And it's giving me a lot of anxiety. I wish it wasn't true. It just is, and I have to say it out loud. So I'm just struggling right now. I have a plan. I'm trying to remember my why. I'm trying to know that this is the better way of living, bar none, absolutely. Plant-based, healthy fats, fruit and vegetables, right? It is absolutely my better way. But I'm struggling. I'm going to just say that. I'm struggling, and I don't want to blame coconut. How can something so little and innocent cause so much trouble for me? It's not you, right, coconut? Okay. So yeah, it comes down to, am I using my tools? And yes and no. Yes and no. Because, so let's go back a second. So first I went to Magic Mountain. There was a ton of temptation available. I chose not to participate. Sometimes when I make it through a stressful situation, I make up for it later. Well, in keeping the momentum, the very next day, I dealt with a ton of family and hundreds of miles of driving and chose not to participate in the nonsense. And then all of a sudden it was Sunday, and praise God, I had a plan. So for Sunday, I was able to food prep for the week. And then all of a sudden, I'm at school today, and there's those triggers, which I didn't have to see for a couple of days, right? And I made it again. And maybe that's just the way it is. I mean, I do say at some point every day, temptation comes knocking, you know? I come to expect it. I don't like it. I'm sorry that that's my process, but it is my process. And I just need to know it. So, am I prepared for tomorrow? Yes. I have my food. I have my plan. I know what to expect. I know what triggers I'm going to see. There'll be some unknowns. I think a lot of it ultimately, I mean, there's no doubt that part of it is the food. So let's understand that when we don't get enough nutrients, our body continues to seek food, right? So if I'm eating junk and food-like products, my body will continue to beg. And if I continue with junk and food-like products, it'll beg and beg me up to 330 plus pounds, right? Where I've been before. When I eat proper fruit, vegetables, plant-based fats, low though adequate amount, Miss Raw, when I eat properly, and especially when I add live sprouts or microgreens, my body gets what it needs and it is satiated, and the only thing left is the mental anguish or temptation. But my body is appeased. That's my ideal. And so I know that, right? I mean, that's why there's so much obesity right now, and yet a ton of people are malnourished because they just keep eating and trying to get to the point where their body is satiated, where their microbiome stops screaming and begging for nonsense, right? Because it's content. And that's not true for many, unfortunately. So I know that on a conscious mental level. So emotionally, what is the trigger? Fear. For me, it always goes back to fear. And it might be simply fear of inadequacy. I'm in a new situation, I'm teaching, I'm in a new setting, there's a chance for me to fail. I never do. I always exceed the expectation. I never fail. But my inner child is scared. It's new. Right? There's just stuff like that. So for me, it always comes back to a fear that I might not be enough, fear that I might fail, fear that I might let others down. It's always about that. So if I get a sense of that and I stay in my adult, I'm okay. I've been really good lately about asking myself, who's running the show? Who's running the show, Juliana? Are you and your little kid right now? Because it's not even legal for her to drive. So like, what? Hooey buddy. Excuse me. I'm gonna, one moment, please. Thank you. So yes, I have to know who's running the show. All right, my friends, I just wanted to check in. I can't be too hard on myself regarding my inability to ever get to sleep by 10 o'clock or get up at 4. It's just not my process right now. I'm still putting it out there though. But no, as I'm already after midnight. Once again. All right, thanks for letting me process, you guys. I am going to be well. I can be clean all day today. I will be clean tomorrow, one good choice at a time. All right, prayers welcome on this anxiety. It's an interesting time for me right now because it's such a blessing to have family, but I'm not local, you know? I'm just not local. So like, first all of a sudden my sister Cynthia was showing up, and then of course her son and his wife, and they were kind of coming out of nowhere, and I wasn't ready for that. And then somebody died that we grew up with, the father that we had grown up with, and the memorial's on Sunday. And so my sister Vanessa is flying in. Well, when I went to visit my sister and my mother, my niece Vanessa was there with her family. And now my sister Vanessa's coming out of nowhere for this funeral. And then I found out that my niece Jenna is suddenly in town. And then one of my nieces, Ariana, had a little baby girl, so precious and so excited. Well, my niece Wonder's having a little baby girl next month. And then my nephew Thomas, his wife, is having a baby in October. And so we have these babies coming. We have nieces and nephews showing up. I have siblings coming. It's all fantastic, but all of them are a minimum, right? A minimum of, I don't know, it's fair to say, let's say 90 miles away. And then my nephew, Dean, who was moved here, is suddenly available, but he also is 90 miles away. And so, like, I'm stoked to be having all this family, but I already had a completely filled life going on, and now I'm trying to arrange for the drive time and the accommodation, and remembering to care for myself in the interim. And remembering that rule that if my food is not available, then I don't need to eat, right? That it's okay to have a small cup of tea to appease me until my food's available. That it's okay to decline. It's okay to pretend to have already eaten, or to have a stomach ache and not be ready to eat at this time, or whatever it takes to honor myself in every setting. And these are stressful settings for me. A blessing can still be stressful, right? Yeah. All right. Thanks for listening, you guys. Like if you like, join us if you haven't subscribed. Let me know in the comments below. Can you relate? Is it fear for you when you tend to not honor yourself? Is it fear for you when temptation suddenly comes upon you? Do you enjoy family to no end and yet recognize that it's a stressful situation? I would love to hear from you on that. All right, until we talk again, best of all, know that I pray for you and know that you're blessed.